Remember common sense, logic, objective reality? Those quaint notions are relics of a bygone era. Welcome to Clown World, where up is down, black is white, and 2 + 2 equals whatever the Ministry of Truth dictates. Our institutions, once pillars of reason, now resemble funhouse mirrors, distorting reality into grotesque caricatures. The lunatics are running the asylum, and they've decided biology is on the chopping block. This is not hyperbole, it's the new normal creeping into our legal systems, our schools, our very language. What was unthinkable yesterday is debated in hallowed halls of justice today. Prepare to have your sanity challenged. Imagine this. The UK Supreme Court, once a bastion of legal brilliance, now resembles a Monty Python sketch. The question before these learned justices, whether a woman is defined by the irrefutable facts of her biology, or by a piece of paper, a government-issued document imbued with the mystical power to override chromosomes, hormones, and basic anatomy. This is not a scene from a dystopian novel. It is the logical endpoint of a society that elevates feelings over facts, where the government grants itself the authority to redefine reality itself. The very notion of woman, a cornerstone of human civilization, reduced to a bureaucratic footnote. Clown World isn't just an insult, it's a diagnosis. It describes the pervasive sense that the world has gone mad, that objective truth is passé and reality itself is up for grabs. Language, the bedrock of communication, is twisted and weaponized. Institutions, meant to serve the people, become tools of an ideology that defies logic and common sense. In Clown World, disagreement is violence, silence is complicity, and the most absurd ideas are celebrated as brave and revolutionary. It is a world where the emperor has no clothes, yet anyone who dares point it out is branded a heretic. This assault on biological reality isn't just intellectual dishonesty, it's a form of psychological manipulation. By undermining our understanding of the natural world, by replacing objective truth with state-sanctioned narratives, the architects of Clown World seek to break down our ability to think critically and independently. Remember Pavlov's dogs, Skinner's rats? The techniques of conditioning and control are not confined to laboratories. They're deployed subtly, insidiously, through the pronouncements of authority figures, the messaging of the media, the very language we are allowed to use. This is social engineering on a mass scale. This clash is not new. Throughout history, there has been a constant tension between natural law, the immutable principles governing the universe, and man's law, the ever-shifting sands of human legislation. But never before has man's law been so brazen in its attempt to usurp and override the natural order. You can pass all the laws you want, issue all the decrees you can muster, but you cannot legislate away biological reality. A man who identifies as a woman is still biologically a man. A woman who identifies as a man is still biologically a woman. These are not opinions, they are scientific facts. The most insidious consequence of this ideological crusade is, well, the erasure of women as a distinct biological category. If a man can simply declare himself a woman, then what does it even mean to be a woman? What happens to women's rights, women's spaces, women's voices, when the very definition of woman is up for grabs? This isn't just an abstract philosophical debate, it has real-world consequences. It undermines women's safety, erodes their hard-won rights, and renders them invisible in the eyes of the law. It is, quite frankly, an assault on the very foundations of womanhood. Who benefits from this orchestrated descent into madness? It's not the average person struggling to make sense of a world turned upside down. No, the real beneficiaries are the elites, the politicians, the academics, the media personalities who thrive on chaos and control. For them, Clown World is not a bug, it's a feature. By keeping the population off balance, by sowing confusion and division, they create a climate of fear and uncertainty. And in such a climate, people crave leadership, even if it comes from those leading them further down the rabbit hole. This is not about tolerance or compassion. It's about power. The power to dictate reality, to control the narrative, to silence dissent. It is the age-old struggle between tyranny and freedom, dressed up in the language of progress and inclusivity. We are at a crossroads. One path leads to a future where reality is fluid, truth is subjective, and the government holds the keys to our very identities. The other path leads to a future where common sense prevails, where we are free to speak truth to power, and where biological reality is not subject to the whims of ideology. The time for complacency is over. We must reject the siren song of clown world and reclaim our grip on reality. This is not about being right or left, conservative or liberal, it's about being sane. It's about defending the fundamental truths that underpin our civilization. Speak out against the madness, challenge the lies, refuse to be silenced. Our very humanity depends on it, for if we surrender our minds to the clowns, we deserve the world they create. The choice is ours. Choose wisely.